Spread the word podcast is 420, nigga. What's up? What's poppin'? We feeling good today. How you doing? Today we got Eli, actually.
Yeah, I'm filling in for Max, you know.
Yeah, no, you're not filling in, bro. You always been a part of this show.
Oh, thank you.
This is a family business.
But how you doing?
I'm feeling good, man.
How you enjoy your 420?
Oh man, I'm coming down, but shit, I'll go back up later.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's a good day.
That's good. I
did some acting shit before I even did anything. It was one of my last acting classes, so we were just kicking it. We did this thing called clap, like pass the clap. It sounds like some STD joint.
It does.
But you clap at the person, and then they're supposed to look you in the eyes and clap synchronously.
Yeah.
And then you have to turn around and clap to the next person synchronously, and then you turn back around. That person gives you another clap, but you have to keep passing the clap.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
like
interesting.
Crazy orgy.
What's the purpose of the game?
It's basically like to get your reaction time, but also your active, we call it active listening. Like you have to, in acting, you always have to be listening to know exactly when your cue is. Because if you don't know that shit, you come in late, it fucks up the course of everything. It's all a dance.
Like timing.
Yeah, it's all
about timing.
A dance that you got to keep in form. So that's one of the things we did. And then you did this other thing called milling and seething, where you basically just walk around, but he'll tell you to walk around like you're in different environments or you have different like traits. So you'd have to like walk with your elbow pointed forward. And what does that make you feel like? Like you're waging through water or through a crowd, or like pointing with your pinky. I don't know what that. I mean, I guess if you're British.
Nah, I understand. It sounds pretty interesting.
It's. I think it's my favorite class.
That's dope. That's dope.
Acting is awesome.
I'm glad that. And how was it throughout the whole semester? It was just straight vibes like that.
The whole thing was like, yeah, like in the first few classes, like since you don't know everybody, it's like you're a little like shy to really like act out. Like people are so scared to act out, but like we're all here. We're all gonna do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So in the first part, it's like everybody's they have a little stage fright.
Yeah.
But like later on, I say like probably a month in, people started getting comfortable, started joking, talking to each other. We would just act out these things. We would do Holmes and Watson. We would do this little script for it. It's literally like 5 lines. You would read it and you would act it out with your partner, and you'd have to be dramatic with it. And nobody's going to laugh at you. In fact, we're going to judge you, and we're going to be like, okay, this is what I pointed out, and this is how you could do better, and this is what I could use to do better in my own reenactment.
That's dope. What made you go into acting?
Well, it is for my major. I'm a film major, but I love arts. Arts on all spectrums: drawing, music, movies, acting.
And I got that vibe from you. You know, when I first met you, like obviously when I first had the interaction, I was like, yo, this guy is the chillest person I ever met. You know, but I feel like the more I got to know you, the more I realized like the versatility you have when it came to like art or music or shows. It was just straight versatility. Like there was like, I was thinking like just based off like even like how you dress, like straight, like I could tell
fashion,
like you know your proportions, you know your, like the color complements, just stuff like that, just simple ways like that. And I guess that what makes you you just like you're not conservative, you're more
I feel like art is really an ideology to live by. Like, people say like art imitates art, or art imitates life. I think life really imitates art. If you paid any attention in any like history class, like the artwork they're saying, you could relate that to any century that we've gone up to now, and it will repeat something that's happening in these past few years, 10 years. Same thing with movies, same thing with music.
And at least for me, I sort of see how art is like life on just the decades, like or just like the times. Like if you took
a picture of everything that happened in that year, you know what type of painting? Like, that would be a masterpiece.
Yeah, like, I remember I saw this. It was an Instagram post, and it was like, music fans from 2007, and it was like
Yeah.
it was like 50 Cent or P Diddy or Spice Girls, and it was like you looking at them not like,
like,
and it was like,
damn,
whoa,
we
like they
was
had the G Unit belts,
yeah.
the G Unit wear, like, and then the Spice Girls they wear like the cheetah print tank tops and
Yo,
the
cheetah prints, man.
yeah, and the UK.
I was a little kid, man. I was like, yo, something's
Exactly.
wrong.
Or remember like the studs on the belts,
Yeah.
like the metal studs. And you just sort of look back and like it's like a nostalgic feeling, like dang. And I feel like that's what everybody,
Dude, I think that's my favorite emotion. Nostalgia is the best thing ever. To miss something really means that you're living a good life.
You know what? I feel like people will only witness nostalgia once it passes by. We never like 2023. We will never know
until it's over.
And I feel like that's why I just sort of live in the moment.
Yeah.
That way when you get older and you just sort of reflect and you're just like, yo,
Yeah.
that was a time to be alive.
Literally.
And it's like and it's crazy because the main segment is about
actually that's what we're gonna talk about.
Yeah,
the
but
nostalgia.
And I feel like it's just like the way life has been. And you sort of like, I feel like right now, and this is just my opinion, the sole reason why we don't look at the good in the past is that we always look at the bad at the moment. Like right now in this year, like with the school shootings and just witnessing all these deaths and these controversies and just with the war that was going on, and it's like, and just like celebrity deaths is like you don't capture the good things.
Moments.
Yeah, you don't capture the good things at that time. You might capture some, but it's like, we always look at the bad. That once the time has come and you sort of like get more problems, you sort of look back and like, dang, there was good into this, know. And I feel like that's just life in general. And and I'm not saying I'm the perfect, but I still try to do my best to like
to appreciate like
a moment,
life, moment at all. Like that's like Max always tells me, like time is something that you cannot get back.
You can't.
No matter what you regret, no matter what you've accomplished, it's always on to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's sort of, and I heard this crazy story, and it's like one of the crazy stories I heard. It was about this woman who got into like an airplane crash, and she lost her family, husband. Yeah. She lost everything. And then the next day she went to work, and then people was like wondering like, how come you didn't take a break? And then she was like regardless on, even if I did take a break, it's not going to change the fact that once I come back, I had to do with the things that I need to do. So like, why wait until like give myself a mental break when I could just like start now, you know what I'm saying? Whatever happened, and what I have moving forward is what I control. And that's sort of like, dang, like in a sense, like in a way, like it's sort of healthy to get that mental break, you know? But like for those who like don't give themselves a mental break, like is that considered healthy? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that considered healthy? Even though like you didn't get a time to soak in what just happened. Right. Like, let's say that lady, the way that lady did, like, just went straight to work, like, without even the question, like.
That's just gonna tear it down later.
Yeah.
At probably the worst moment that it can happen.
Like, would you rather like take the time now, or just like wait until you accomplish it, until you finally get to reflect on it?
I wouldn't say that. When I say like it's on to the next one, I feel like people, and me included, I used to think this way. I always thought that life is a rush to the goal. This is a long life we have. And although it could be taken from us at any moment, if you rush to the end, what's the point of living?
Yeah.
You basically die, but you're still walking around.
Yeah. And I feel like it's important for people to set checkpoints with each other,
Yeah.
you know, to just self-reflect. Because obviously you
Like,
got to,
look where I am now.
yeah, like, obviously you got, you obviously got a long ways to go. And let's just be honest, people are never satisfied on where they are, regardless if you're rich. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some people they take something and they're like,
But
hey,
they'll always want something.
yeah, like there's always people are never satisfied, regardless of the culture, whether it's in America, whether it's in a third world country, whether
I don't think nothing living is ever satisfied.
Yeah, I don't even think it happens to animals. To be honest with
they
you,
need food the next week.
like,
Lion gonna keep hunting.
Exactly.
Tree gonna keep looking for water to feed itself so the leaves stay alive.
Exactly. The motion never stops. You know,
Right.
so you just sort of gotta catch up with the life. You know.
Yeah.
And that sort of happening this year. You know, like that happens every year. You know, like we never experience the good things in high school until we actually leave high school, and then you look back like, dang.
Like, I'm looking back, I'm like, damn, my life could be good after that. Like, there's all that fun things I was going through in high school. I thought I was fucking untouchable.
Yeah, it's like,
and I could just keep doing that after I get out.
Yeah. We got a special guest in the building.
Hello, Mr. Radical.
We got.
Thank you for having me. You're the perfect one.
So happy to be here, y'all. I've been wanting to join this for a minute, so thank y'all for having me. And I'm real excited about what y'all do, and I'm excited to be part of this platform. So thank you.
We have missed you, sir.
Missed you too, brother.
Man, we've got so many thoughts to spill.
Yes, please.
Right now, we're talking about the nostalgia of life, like how important nostalgia is and how it keeps you moving forward. Like, especially, I was thinking more like the pandemic, because that was my second year of high school, and that shit hit. And then, I mean, I had a social life, but it wasn't like my social life was my whole thing. Like, people didn't know me like that.
Yeah.
But when that pandemic hit, I was like, school? The world is about to end. We're all about to die. I'm not doing school.
Man, I didn't even think of that as a process, right? Because you only see it from your purview. You only see it from what you're going through, what you're experiencing. And I really didn't think of it that way. Being in high school and thinking, oh, this is about to end. Like, what does it matter? Like, that is a great reaction. That is that's a very human reaction. That's a very, and it also goes to show you what you think about school, that when it push came to shove, it wasn't something that was needed. The truth is, it became about family, and it became about those people that were important to you.
Right.
Hence why I was able to go out and create a baby. Hence why a bunch of people have also done the same in that time period. Because I think a lot of people realized what was important and what wasn't. Right. And granted, you want to be able to feed your kid, but not at the sake of your inner peace, not at the sake of your dignity, not at the sake of your pride.
Absolutely.
And sadly, a lot of people going to work every day and realizing how much they hated it. And you said it as a second year, which makes you 15 years old in high school, 14 to 15 years old, where you realize I no longer want to do this because what does it matter if it all ends?
Yeah.
Which goes to show you just how sensitive this all is, right? What a balanced life needs.
That's real shit. Like, man, just thinking back too. Go ahead.
And it's crazy because it's almost because I thought you were older. I thought like
old soul, man.
Yeah,
like
man.
You do too, Eli.
Like
nah,
when that happened, I was in my senior year, and it hit the most because it's like all the extracurricular activities, it was just straight gone. So when that happened, you was uncertain on what the future would hold. You know, because at that time it was all new to us. I mean, it wasn't probably new like at the time because again, history, repeats itself, but like, it was new to us because even with the technology we have, even with the progressions we have, we still have problems that we had to face.
Right.
Well, we haven't cured the common cold, right? Yeah. You think about that. We haven't cured these very basic things we haven't done. So here was this thing that we never heard of that was a rendition of a rendition of a rendition of bird flu. Right? That's all this was and so they and a rendition of SARS. And they kept renaming it
in Spanish
to the point where when we finally get here, it's now COVID-19 because the year just so happened to be 19. They had that many different renditions. Now we've grabbed the Greek alphabet in this pandemic, and we're grabbing things out of that.
How was the latest one called? I forgot. Like there's like a another
it's
strand.
all scary, dude, because it's all scary to see now how our bodies have responded and that numbers have dwindled, but that you do get these upticks. It's all scary. To have that very human reaction, I'm not going to say I wasn't too far off from you. I had the very human reaction that I didn't want to come back here. I knew that we had to shut this down for a week or two. Just from knowing people's cleanliness habits, and and just going, okay, if this is a pandemic and I have to worry about people being at the best of their cleanliness, is a college kid at the best of their cleanliness? Right? As much as it hurts, as much as that hurts, I'm right. So it's so that was where I had to come once again from my own purview, as this dude's wiping boogers all over himself, and I proved my point. But he's doing it with a napkin. It's not like he's touching the mic, so he's doing it properly.
Right.
But everyone gets so offended when I walk out of here and I'll sanitize for touching the doorknobs, and the dude's literally got a whole handful of tissues over here.
Yeah,
so if I touch my mic, no, I hope you live. It's if I touch that with my lips and his saliva's been on it, now he's gotten me sick, right?
Right.
See, and we're sharing a mic. The little things you don't think of.
Yeah.
And I hope you feel better because my allergies are also rancid, and he could also say the same shit about me. And be like, dude, you walked in here crying. like, are you dying? Are you okay? So, you get it? That's the whole thing. So that was a very ugly part of the pandemic, too, that we don't talk about. Was how
we actually started to care.
Well, that was amazing. That was beautiful. Crying at a commercial was beautiful, right? But the 6 feet, how much you hated other people all of a sudden, right? It created this division.
Get the fuck away
where you're
from
give me the 6 feet. Don't touch me. Don't, that's the shit that gets you,
And it's crazy how only when that happens, now, I haven't worn a mask for
Yeah, that long. Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah.
I can't even remember.
And it's crazy because I remember at that time, it was a whole, everybody was buying toilet paper all of a sudden.
Yeah.
There was out of
That's
stock of
horrid,
toilet
yeah.
paper.
That's why I really thought it was the end, because why are we buying toilet paper?
I think what they were worried about was if we went into closure, because they said we would shut down, we would need two weeks worth of toilet paper, which is again a very human response.
Right.
Walgreens doesn't think of 10,000 people showing up to buy 2 weeks worth of toilet paper, and that's what you forgot was. They're not saying not to leave your house. They're saying unless you need toilet paper. That's how it should have. That's honestly how they should have promoted it. Don't leave your house unless you need toilet paper, right? So then maybe the person then goes and buys 3 or 4 rolls, not 3 or 4 dozen rolls, right? And that's what happened. So when you and then the worst part of that was where it got real ugly was when you saw people needed it. There was a price rise, not a price drop. Price gouging begins, gas, all those things. That was where it got ugly. Now, are we guilty of this in our own way every day? Yes. Yeah. And I'll explain how, and I'll use myself as the example. When I had my baby, Enfamil was out of shortage. Children's Tylenol was out of shortage. So what I told my father was, he lives in a different state. He lives in Miami, Florida. And I told him, please, if you find either one of these things, buy it. So what he did for a week time is he bought it. But listen to the number I just said, a week time. So he bought every day 3 of each, 3 milks, 3 Tylenol, 3 milks, 3 Tylenol. Well, I will be giving my kid milk until she's 16 now because he bought her so many milks, and children's Tylenol I'll probably end up having to give away.
Right.
As long as you're aware of the fact that you may not use it all, help out your community.
Yeah, definitely.
So if there's still my boy has just had his kid and 5 months behind me having mine, and I told him if there's a shortage of children's Tylenol in your area, tell me I will overnight you some children's Tylenol. As a parent, that's not something you need to go through. I understand that now, but I also didn't need to hoard it either. Right.
And I feel like it really, we needed that. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
We needed that pandemic, especially coming out. We were talking about the vibe earlier. 2021 after 2020, this is the sky was brighter.
Yeah.
Because
food tasted better.
Yeah. It's you came back outside. You were stuck in a cave.
Yeah.
Everything. And then 2022 comes oh shit.
Yeah.
What now? When's the next?
Well, now I think you guys that's got to be something in itself, right?
Yeah.
Coming off of the oh my god, it's all ending.
Yeah.
So fuck it, one big orgy. Right?
We're still here.
Right, and then it's not ending.
Yeah.
We got to do this for another 80, don't we? Right? You guys are looking at another 80 years of this, right? I'm looking at 40. That's half the time. We're good. But you guys are looking at another 80 years of this. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot to process. It was never one of those things where I wanted humans to lose compassion. If anything, that's where it should begin, right? Compassion shouldn't die during moments like that. It's the social responsibility. It's the vibe, if you want to call it that. And we lost that. We did
Yeah.
it. So you're right. It was needed for us to look as a people and start loving each other again.
Yeah.
The earth needed to breathe again. I went whale watching during the pandemic.
Whale watching.
It was, and dude, that was out of 33rd Street in the city, Manhattan, C Street,
Yeah.
for $35.
It
I saw
birthed
15
something.
whales. I saw 25 dolphins.
Jesus.
Like, do you know why?
Because it's
people weren't
clean water.
overfishing the oceans. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it was dope to actually go out 2 hours out and go whale watching in Manhattan. Who knew you could even do that?
Yeah.
But you started looking for things to do, especially when the world opened back up. You were like, oh shit, I've been watching The Sopranos every Sunday. I can go
Yeah, I
live
feel
life.
like that really built my personality. Like all the music I like, all the movie. I wouldn't watch half of the like 80s. I don't want to say this, but
It's okay.
white film major,
I got
highly appreciated movies like fucking Pulp Fiction and shit like that.
Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah. Like, Aye.
who's the king of blaxploitation? Like, you know, like,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
literally.
he rides off you guys. Like, it's bad. Like,
he loves that N-word.
You know what? I feel like 2020 just taught me to be appreciative of time overall, and I felt like that happened with everybody. You know, because, you know, I have a grandfather, and I'm blessed to have him. He's 91. He turned 91 a couple of days ago. You know, and I felt like, during that pandemic, especially him as an old person, he sort of just like helped me to like, you know, just to like take time to like talk to him, because it that year taught me that there's gonna be a time where not everything's gonna last.
Yeah.
Like everything, all the loved ones, especially the elders, is gonna be gone. You know.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna like have that same moment with them. So just spend the time when you still have it.
Right.
You know. And that
Absolutely.
definitely that year definitely helped me to like
Realize
learn
that.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that got me thinking. You reminded me of the most depressing thing I've ever heard, and this is kind of the way we should all live our lives. That Martin Luther King's going to be remembered forever, right? From here on out, right? And we hope for that. He deserves that. But will you? At some point, there will be someone that thinks of you for the last time, and then there will be no memory of you in this world. So what's the mark that you're leaving to leave that memory?
Yeah.
We're not all going to be Martin Luther King.
I don't even know if Martin Luther King would be remembered like millennia.
And therein lies the conversation.
Shit.
There it is, right?
That's deeper than that's real death. That's like total death.
And therein lies the conversation.
Damn.
I mean,
Right?
if you think about it, like, how many people really?
Sorry, I messed your world up. She's sitting here buffering, like.
Nah, like think about it. Like, how many people really celebrated St. Patrick's this year, nor like knew that
I
it was
just
gonna
want some green.
come? Like compared to like a couple years ago when it was like heavily impact. Like some things just never like get.
Got the juice back.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I felt like that's just time overall. Like there's gonna be new history, you know, and I feel like some history.
Let's see if Trump gets elected again.
Yep.
I thought he. So did they? What did they get on him? Didn't they take him in?
Yeah,
And then
but now.
He's
I
rich.
thought you can't run again if you get indicted.
Well, he would actually have to be found guilty. So the big problem is he's indicted and arraigned. You know, fingerprinting, blah blah blah. The counts are through the roof, but now they're trying to make it seem like they're trying to prevent him from running, which is such a smart counter because it's low hanging fruit. It's waiting for you to say it, right? Like Trump is so good at just pointing out the obvious to you, and this is where he's a fucking genius.
That's how he
Like
gets all
it's
these people.
right. Like let's not lie. Like we joked around about this the other day. Like Kung Flu is probably the funniest shit ever. Like let's not lie. That is fucking funny. I don't like Trump, but Kung Flu is fucking funny.
Like, if you roasted somebody-
if that was a joke on a stand-up special, which it ended up becoming with Chappelle, he says it. Anyone who's I've done radio for 20-something years. Anyone who's done some kind of comedic radio, that is fucking funny. Like I don't care who you are,
Right.
but it's wrong. And that's what he is. He's
Yeah,
wrong,
he's wrong,
right? He's
but
just
he's funny
wrong.
about it.
But fuck, I'm not gonna lie. I've never watched CNN so much when that dude was here. Biden's boring. Like it's.
Yeah, it
like,
is. I'm not glad. We need
But I don't want Trump back.
Just
Don't
give
get-
Trump
no,
Twitter
yeah,
back,
get it.
please.
He did. He got his handle back. He said
He needs to start some
No,
crazy
yeah.
stuff.
No, like Dave Chappelle said it best. Like Donald Trump is like that drunk dad that's funny, but
Yeah.
it's your drunk dad,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
like,
that funny
not
to
everybody
you,
has
but it's
to
funny
fuck
to
with
other people, you know.
Yeah, it's entertainment. That's why when Chappelle says
Mhm.
the kung fu thing, and he goes, the second thought he has is, "You motherfucker! I should have thought of that joke," because it's so. And by Dave Chappelle, we would have all loved it. We would probably have T-shirts saying it, right? But it's the fact that it came from Trump, and we were like, "Oh, you can't, dude, not you." Right, because he's everything we're trying to get away from,
That's
the white
crazy.
toxic male, right? That masculinity.
What you
It's-
did? I feel like comedians are the best forms of artists. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're
you
like
have to-
artists and they're like news reporters
Yes.
as well.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And you have to find that fine line of not offending, right?
Yeah.
So it's like Michael Richards, and I don't know, you should know this story. Michael Richards from Seinfeld, who plays Kramer, goes on and he's doing a set, and someone's not laughing and starts heckling him. And Michael Richards now loses his temper and showing his ugly side says, if this was hundreds of years ago, you'd be hanging from a tree. Well, sadly, not hundreds of years ago, just maybe about, 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's what makes that so sensitive. Know your joke, right? You're getting defensive, and that came out so ugly.
Yeah.
That's not a joke anymore, motherfucker. You're racist. Like,
It's
that's
so
inherently racist. And that's where it gets ugly.
not
Right?
even funny racist
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
It's
It's
not
not. It's not like a lazy joke, low hanging fruit, like we always say, is like, oh, credit score drop, stuff like that. Like that. Those are jokes people get ahead of. Those are jokes. Those are the common stereotypical jokes. Latins with too much cologne. You took a Puerto Rican shower. There's always
I never heard
always. Oh, my. I have a Dominican friend who loves that joke. So anytime I come out with cologne, he's like,
Cologne?
oh, you took a Puerto Rican shower, and I'm like, bro, I was your roommate. I'm like, I know who takes more showers. Like, stop that. And he'll just like keep quiet because it's
No.
like I shower twice daily. Stop that. Like, don't do that. So, but that's been a saying. So what did Puerto Ricans do? They turned around that same stereotypical joke and put it towards Jewish people, right? So it comes off of them. So there's stereotypes out there. It's just how do we let them affect us?
Yeah.
But the way you do the Trump dad thing is perfect. He's a drunken dad that we're all
Yes.
embarrassed of. The problem is he keeps walking out into the fair naked, and that's what's wrong with Trump. It's like, yeah, that's my fucking dad. No, it's not. It's not my dad any longer. I no longer want to own
Not
him,
my
and that's
president.
where the U.S. is with him to turn it political. With that said, who's viable? Are you paying attention? Because it's not Biden.
Got fucking
Yeah,
DeSantis is probably worse than Trump.
that's scary if DeSantis, because that's super scary if DeSantis gets in there. But
A lot of us gonna
he's
lose
at
some
least a little
rights.
bit more. I'm gonna say he's not looking to hold on to power as long. What Trump is doing is scary. But I wanted to say that. We also know that there's a lot more middle and gray area that we don't speak about. We also know that Biden is doing a lot of bad in there, and it's been pointed out, the hypocrisy. But I want to point out numbers. If I tell you that Eli's done something wrong 10 times, and I tell you that Harrison's done something wrong 500,000 times, who's really pathological? And that's the issue, is we're choosing to try to compare Biden's 10 times to his 10,000 times, and that's a real problem.
Right.
With that, I am done. My friend, thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
You're the
Sorry-
man. Thank you
yeah,
for having me.
Give it
Yeah.
up. Genius,
I
right?
oh, yeah. Remember the germ talk. I love it.
This man. But shit, yeah. That's perfect. That's perfect. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
This has been Spread the fucking word.
Thank you.
Spreading the words like we're
And
spreading
shout out
germs.
to Max. Shout out to Max.
Shout out to Max, man. If you were here to hear this, your brain ain't with a
Shout out to
yeah, shout out to
Oye.
Oye. Shout out to Leslie. She stood there, just keep looking great at the door. But yeah, we'll catch you next week. Keep living, person.
Say what's that?